As promised in the last episode, we are going to cover the tools, tricks and lies used by scammers, and I'm going to explain them to the best of my ability, so it won't be perfect, just bear that in mind as we go forward. Tech support scams are becoming more and more prevalent, and this is an industry-wide issue. Tech support scams prey on the ability to scare people into thinking that there is something wrong with their computer or laptop, if you will, and trick the unknowing into paying for a fix so that they can fix an issue that doesn't actually exist. These tech support scams usually start as a message on the internet or as an unsolicited phone call from someone claiming to be someone that they are not. I've seen multiple instances where people have received letters claiming to be Microsoft or local authorities, and internet service providers even claiming that they received a message that their computer is infected. These are not legitimate threats or concerns. These are scammers who are trying to steal your money. No legitimate company will ever call, email, or write you unsolicited about your computer. If this was a message that appeared while you were browsing the internet, it was simply an advertisement designed to scare you into contacting the tech support scammers, which might sound familiar to you if you've watched the previous episode. I will include some helpful links in the description that I would highly recommend to read because they contain a wealth of very useful information. Some commonly used terms include virus, errors and warnings, scan is not what they are doing. What they meant to say is scam. Message, usually used when you get an error or notification on a quote-unquote Microsoft support website. Warranty expired, referring to either the software used or Windows itself. Infection, another word used to replace the word virus. Payment, brought up during or at the end of the procedure, usually inflated, so you'll be paying up to 3 times the normal price. One-off payment, that is not true, they will keep charging your bank account until it's totally blank. And fast support. Not much to say here other than good support usually takes longer if it's really high quality. Let's cover some tools now, shall we? So the command prompt. The command prompt is a command line interpreter that is used to communicate with your computer. You can find information about your computer or tell certain aspects of your computer to perform tasks if you know the right commands. This is certainly a more common scam method. The image that you see on your screen right now is a technique that is often used to convince the unknowing that their computer is communicating with hackers. Other scam techniques can involve other commands like ipconfig or dir/s to show you information that you may not recognize. They may also physically type or paste in messages to trick you into believing that you have a Trojan or that your IP address has been compromised, and often including typos as shown in the picture on your screen right now. So make sure to read them if they are typing those out. Sometimes you can even hear them typing on the keyboard. You might remember I mentioned the command in the picture that where it says netstat. I will be explaining later what the command does, so just bear with me. But just remember the thing that we'll be talking about it later on. Another popular tool used among scammers is the Event Viewer. The Windows Event Viewer application can be a very useful tool as well. It is designed to store the event logs for applications, security and system information about your computer. This can be used to track the events that led to a specific situation, such as tracking and allowing the proper diagnostic of a program that is not opening. Tech support scammers often use these errors and warnings as a way of convincing people that they are at a risk. Every installation of Windows will have errors and warnings. Those are completely normal, so don't panic. It's fine. In the image shown on your screen right now, we can see an example of this. A scammer may use this information to scare someone that something is trying to get local activation permissions, and that Microsoft stopped it, and that you are under attack from an outside source. That simply isn't the case. One tool that you may not have known that even exists in Windows if you're not a power user is the registry editor. The registry editor is a portion of the operating system, or the registry rather, that is basically a database of various items. It contains settings, program locations, how and when to open programs, options, and other information can be found in the computer registry. You can think of it as the be-all and end-all tool for configuring Windows. Tech support scammers may use the registry to show you entries that don't have a value set in an effort to lead you to believe that your computer isn't protected or that you need to pay for specialized software to take care of these items. They are not needed. You may remember I mentioned these in the last video as well. Those so-called registry cleaners and fixers, those are the ones that they will be trying to recommend you so that you can give them more of your money. The image shown on your screen right now shows an example of a registry that a scammer may use to misguide the user into believing that they are at a risk. Another thing that actually happens quite a lot is called blackmail or even extortion emails. We've seen a number of situations, or I've seen them personally, where people have received unsolicited emails or letters in the mail. These often inform that there is a threat, maybe some sort of virus, malware, worm or trojan, etc. on their machine, and that they were caught on camera watching explicit content. But these are not limited to these items specifically. They can pick whatever item or topic they want to try and lure you into paying them more and more of your sweet cash. The scam often turns into a phone call, a number for you to call, or a website to visit, or a method to pay the person who's contacted you. These emails and letters rarely end up being from a legitimate source, and they are hoping that you pay them to resolve a non-existent issue. Unfortunately, some of these messages do cause need for alarm, but not in the way that the messages say. These scammers often have a password listed that is or was one of your passwords, and it is the result of a breach on a website. We recommend ensuring that you change your password, especially for any accounts with the password listed. You can also use some really common password practices using various symbols, switching up between lower and higher case letters, combining letters or replacing certain letters with numbers. There's a bunch of techniques you can learn online. If you want to check if your email address is against a known breached website, you can check the link below at haveibeenpwned.com. I used it personally. So far nothing has happened to me, luckily, so yeah. On the screen right now I'm showing you an example of such an email. The email basically says that if you want to get your password back, you have to pay them in Bitcoin. The reason why they want you to pay in Bitcoin is because it's a cryptocurrency that is not traceable, meaning that if you try to report it and get your money back, well, you're pretty much in a bad position because you won't be able to do that. You can pretty much kiss your money goodbye. So hello you guys, sorry for the little intermission over here. I just want to mention that there actually exists one more piece of software that most scammers will be using, and it's called Lock My PC. As the name suggests, it will lock your computer. Most scammers will try and use the free version of this piece of software if you don't pay them for their quote-unquote service that they provided to you, and they will try and use this to just, you know, get more money out of you basically. And they do mention that if you are a victim of such a cybercrime, you should use the recovery page to get the password for the recovery, to recover basically from this state. As it mentions here, if you cannot see the password prompt, what that means is that Lock My PC is possibly in blind mode. To get out of it, all you have to do is press Shift and Spacebar, and it will show up with the prompt as seen in this image right here. Then the next thing you have to do is with the free version, which is the version really popular with scammers, all you have to do is type in 999901111 into the password line, and don't press anything. Don't press enter, don't press OK button, don't press anything. All it will do is it will show you a numeric recovery code as shown in the image down here under the password line. You need to take this code, this number code, and put it into the page. I will put the page link down there in the description below, and it will be pretty much this page you see right now, right here. And you have to do is scroll down here, type in the recovery code seen in the image, basically on the location over here, and certify that you are the owner, and then click submit. What this will do is you'll get a new password which you can use with the Lock My PC software instead of your password. It will give you a new password to unlock your computer, basically. So that's all I wanted to mention. So yeah, let's get back to the video. Additional scam techniques can involve prefetch and temporary files using your task manager or resource monitor to trick you into believing that there is an issue, searching on the internet for specific issues that actually don't even exist nowadays. I've seen countless times people in the process of getting scammed that they will refer to viruses that have been resolved ages ago, and yet people still believe them. They will be most likely using a third-party application to try and show you something that isn't actually an issue at all. They also will try and use other Windows commands and programs to indicate that something is wrong even though it actually isn't. However, there are a large variety of techniques. There are hundreds of different things these scammers can try to trick you with into buying something that you don't even need. So as promised, we're going to cover some commands, so let's get to it, shall we? So the first command I want to try and start with is the tree command. Tree is a command that prints out the directory structure of a given drive, nothing else. Most scammers will try and claim that they are using this as a scanning software. They will try and say that it's scanning your computer's hard drive for errors and other viruses and other messages, or maybe even some leftover files. Well, because the command takes really long before it gets executed, they can use the time to type in a message that you will not be aware of. Usually such a message can say something along the lines that a scan has been complete and that it has found a number of errors, or that your computer is infected. Sometimes you have to just read the messages to notice, oh no, there's a bunch of typos. However, going off typos only isn't enough. The easiest thing to remember is that since the command takes so long to get executed, they will try and take your attention in different ways by talking to you politely, you know, asking you about your day or stuff like that. They just want to make sure that you don't pay attention to what they are doing. So yeah, that's pretty much the tree command in a nutshell. Only thing it does is it shows you the structure of your drive. It doesn't scan anything, it just shows you where your files are in a bit more of a detailed manner, if you will. Assoc. Assoc is a command that displays the program and or functionality associated with a specific file type. These particular, let's say, scams are usually misinterpreted by scammers and are being used as a unique identifier of the victim's system, and it also contains like the license ID of your Windows operating system. Basically, it contains a lot of valuable information that they will try and extract or show you to try and trick you. But one thing you have to remember is that as soon as someone gets your license ID, you're pretty much screwed. Next up is the dir command. It's used to list items or directories or even folders, if you will. The thing is, it's pretty much similar to the tree command. It's commonly used alongside it actually, and they will try and claim that these are viruses that it found, even though the dir command only shows the directories in a given folder. That's that, a command you might have seen previously in this video. It is derived from the words network and statistics. It delivers basic statistics on all network activities and informs the user on which ports and addresses the corresponding connections like TCP or UDP are running and which ports are open for tasks. They will try to trick you into thinking that those are hackers. They are not. The only thing it shows you is that your computer has connected to this address and it may or may not be even connected to it, and it usually refers to websites you might have visited before, so don't panic. Another really fun command used by some some, even though I haven't seen it in a very long time being used, is the power CFG command. It controls power plants, or schemes if you will. It enables the user to control how much power each component consumes, either by entering a high or low power state, with a lower power state consuming less power, therefore making your laptop last longer, and vice versa. Commonly it's used like power CFG /battery report. What the command does is really simple. It generates a report letting the user know that the current state of the computer's battery, or power source if you will, and they will try and tell you that, you know, that there's something wrong, that you need to go to one of your technicians or contact them to get your issue fixed online. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you aren't brainlets and that you can guess what this means. Basically, what they're trying to tell you is that, hey, you need to connect to someone to the internet in order to fix your battery, which isn't possible. It's a hardware issue. It's an issue on a hardware level, and you cannot simply fix a hardware issue with online tools. It's not possible. And yeah, that is it, that's all. So thank you for making it this far into the video. Honestly, you're an absolute legend for making it this far. Let me know what you think of today's video. I really worked hard on it for the past few weeks, doing a lot of research, fact checking, and then having to do all the editing on top, which took a bit of time, but I think I did a fairly good job with it. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share it around with all your loved ones, people, friends, whatever, even your dog, cat, pets, whatever you have. And I hope to see all of you beautiful people next time on the next episode of Tech Know How 101.